Yo, what is up guys? It is G with EastSideMiniMobberz, and in this video we are going to be taking a stock Predator 212 Hemi and turning it into a fast, fun, reliable, and affordable engine build. So with all that being said, let's get straight into the video. So we are going to be taking a stock Predator 212 Hemi and we're going to be turning it into a perfect daily rider, a perfect budget build that is still very affordable, that's going to make a decent amount of horsepower and torque, that's going to be perfect for our new Motovox build. So let's just jump straight into the video here and let's get this thing disassembled. And as always, make sure you guys subscribe. Currently we are building one bad Motovox and you guys are not going to want to miss out on those videos. And also, as always, I will link all the parts in the description below. Let's go. Alrighty, so we're gonna jump straight into this. We're gonna go ahead and start by draining the oil. 10 millimeter, and let that drain. Alrighty, now that the oil is pretty much done draining, I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall our drain plug, but in the kit they actually include a magnetic drain plug, so I'm gonna be installing this one as well with a washer. And go ahead and just snug that up. Alrighty, now with the oil drain, I'm gonna go ahead and start removing this valve cover and this whole head assembly. Now I'm gonna remove our heat shield. Now we can go ahead and remove our head. Just 2 bolts on the top and 2 on the inside. Just like that. Head can come off and we can go ahead and remove our push rods. We can go ahead and remove our old head gasket. Now we can remove our ignition coil. We can go ahead and remove our oil sensor. And we can go ahead and just pull all this wiring out and cut it from the sensor. We can go ahead and remove our governor arm. I've already taken the bolt and the nut out, so now we just gotta get this actual arm off. Just grab a flat head, put it in the middle, bend it out a little bit, and she'll slide straight off. Now I'll go ahead and remove this flywheel as well. There's the nut and the flywheel pull start cup. We can remove our plastic fan. We'll grab our pry bar and our hammer and pry this flywheel off while we hit in on the crankshaft. Now our flywheel will slide right off, just like that. We'll go ahead and remove the side cover bolts. And our side cover should slide right off. We can go ahead and remove our stock cam. Cam can come straight out. Go ahead and remove our lifters. Gonna go ahead and remove the oil sensor. And then just gonna cut the oil sensor wire flush. Then our oil sensor can come out. Now I'm gonna go ahead and unbolt our stock rod. There's one of the bolts and there's the other. Now our rod cap can come out and we should be able to just push the whole piston and rod out from the block. Just like that. And there's our stock rod and piston. Now with that removed, we should be able to pull our crankshaft out just like that. And now to remove the governor, we're gonna go ahead and get rid of this little arm that's still here. We're gonna go ahead and pull out this little clip with some pliers. Got that pulled out. Now this should be able to drop down just like that. Don't forget about the little washer at the top. Now to remove the governor, we're gonna go ahead and flip this around. And right here at the back of the governor, I'm gonna go ahead and get a little center punch and pound that out. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and line this up right there and hit it on out. And you can see the whole entire governor assembly is out. And make sure to grab the little washer that's on the very back of the governor. And just like that, this is a completely stripped block with absolutely nothing on it. So here is our crankshaft here. Since we removed our governor, we're gonna go ahead and pound off our stock governor gear here. Removing this just gives you less rotating mass. Just like that. Alrighty, now that this block is completely stripped down, I'm gonna go ahead and plug the 2 governor holes with these 1/4 inch metal threading screws here. And just like that, both of the holes are plugged. Alrighty, now if we hold up our block and look straight down, right where the push rods and the lifters go, you can see there's a very small, tiny hole, and we are gonna be drilling that hole out to a 3/8. What this is pretty much gonna do is all the oil that ends up in the head will be able to drain back down and provide a little bit better lubrication. So with all that being said, let's drill that out. Alrighty, now that that is drilled out, I'm gonna go ahead and completely deep clean this whole entire block. I'm gonna get all the metal shavings out. I'm gonna blow this out with compressed air. So with all that being said, let's get that done. Alrighty, and our block and our side cover are 100% clean. Everything is ready to go. Make sure you get all the metal shavings out of there, which I have done. Sprayed everything with brake clean, and I hit it with compressed air. You do not want to leave any sort of shavings in the motor. And check this out. We got it stripped down. Look at all of the engine components we have removed. Our stock flywheel, valve cover, heat shield, our stock head, side cover, the crankshaft, stock cam, head gasket, our rod and piston assembly, our lifters, push rods, and our coil. So now that this thing is stripped down, ready to go, let's go ahead and begin installing our new performance parts. So here are all of our upgraded parts that we are going to be installing into this engine. We'll start off with our Mod 2 cam. We have our 18-pound valve springs to reduce valve float. We have our ARC billet rod with new rod bearings for longevity. We have our upgraded performance spark plug, our 22mm Mikuni, our upgraded heavy-duty flywheel, which is good up to 10,000 RPMs, our 10,000 high compression head gasket for more compression, and our flat top piston with new wrist pin and rings. With that being said, let's go ahead and get all these parts installed. So here is our crankshaft here. I'm gonna go ahead and clearance this right there on the very edge. There's not enough clearance with the Mod 2 cam. So this is only for Hemis. If you have a non-Hemi, you will not need to do this, but with the Hemi crankshaft, you will have to clearance the very top ears of the crankshaft here. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this in blue masking tape, and then I'm gonna go ahead and hit that with a Dremel and clearance the ears there. When doing this, make sure to wear eye and ear protection. Now with our crankshaft clearanced, I'm gonna go ahead and check our oil clearance on our journal here and make sure we're within spec. And perfect, we are within spec, so we are good to proceed. Alrighty, now we're gonna go ahead and seat our bearings in our billet rod. Here are the bearings, and they have a little notch on them, which corresponds into the rod. Make sure it kind of snaps down in place. Just like that. Go ahead and put just a little bit of assembly lube on here. Also gonna put a little bit on the bolts as well. We can go ahead and put our rod on our crankshaft. So now I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these two bolts down to 60 inch-pounds, and then we will alternate back and forth in 20 inch-pound increments till we get to 170 inch-pounds to make sure that these bearings are fully seated. And just like that, 170. Bearings are seated. We can go ahead and remove this now. And just like that, our bearings are properly seated, so we are ready to begin the install process. Alrighty, so I'm going to start by installing our new flat top piston onto our billet rod. So here's our new wrist pin as well. I'm going to go ahead and install one of the clips on the piston first. Go ahead and use a little pick and make sure it's fully seated in place. And then we'll go ahead and put just a little bit of assembly lube. And when you're installing your piston to your rod, make sure the arrow is facing down. Slide in our wrist pin. So when it's installed, make sure the arrow is going to be down. And then we'll take our other clip and install it. Make sure that's fully seated. Now we'll go ahead and install our new piston rings. There's two thin ones and then an oil scraper. Those will get installed together. We can go ahead and install our oil scraper rings. Just like that, our oil scraper is completely installed. Alrighty, now we can go ahead and install our compression rings and make sure the gaps on the piston rings are opposite from each other. Alrighty, now that our piston rings are on, we can go ahead and install our crankshaft. Go ahead and put a little bit of lube. We can go ahead and slide that on through. Alright, now with all the rings and the rod installed onto the piston, we are ready to install this. As you can see, this is the correct orientation with the marker pointing downwards. Gonna go ahead and throw some oil in here first. Also gonna go ahead, some oil in there. We'll go ahead and slide our piston in the compressor and tighten it down. We'll go ahead and slide in our piston and rod assembly. And now that that is installed, we'll go ahead and use the rubber end of a hammer to press it in. And just like that, the piston is installed. And we can go ahead and install our rod cap and the bolts. Now we'll go ahead and tighten down our rod bolts to 60 inch-pounds. And then we'll work up in 20 inch-pound increments until we reach 170 inch-pounds. And just like that, 170 inch-pounds, the rod, the piston is all bolted up and connected to our crankshaft. Now let's go ahead and install our lifters and cam. And once everything is all installed, make sure you turn the engine over a few times and make sure there's no clearancing issues or anything like that. You should always do that when you install new performance parts. And on your rod, make sure the two little dimple dots down there line up If you do not have the dots or they are not lined up, your rod is installed incorrectly. So make sure you fix that before you install everything else. Alrighty, now we can go ahead and install our lifters. Make sure you put some oil on these as well. Now we're gonna go ahead and install our cam. Let's go ahead and put a little bit of oil where the cam lines up in the block there. And we'll go ahead and install our Mod 2 cam here. Might be kind of hard to tell on camera, but the lobes on the Mod 2 are significantly bigger and longer duration than the stock camshaft. So this should aid in some good power and some good torque. So let's get this installed. Now when installing this, you're gonna see there's gonna be a little dimple dot on the cam and the crankshaft. That is your timing mark, so make sure you line those up. Alrighty, just like that, you can see the dots are perfectly aligned. And just like that, our cam is in. We are ready to go. I'm actually gonna go ahead and throw on a clear side cover just to hold everything all together and mock everything up. And I'm gonna turn the motor over a few times so we can make sure we have absolutely zero clearance issues with this cam and the crankshaft. So here is one from OMB Warehouse, and what this will do is this will allow us to see inside the motor and make sure we have no clearance issues. So go ahead and slide that on. We'll go ahead and put 2 of the bolts in. Alrighty, and I just checked the clearances. We are good, nothing is rubbing or touching at all. So we can go ahead and remove this clear side cover and we can install a new gasket along with our side cover. Alrighty, check it out. I got that new gasket on there. Got our dowel pins in place. I'm gonna go ahead and just throw some assembly lube on the side cover bearing here. Make sure it's not dry. Go ahead and put a little bit of lube where the cam goes on the side cover there. And we can go ahead and slide this over. Make sure everything lines up. Alrighty, now that the side cover is fully seated, we can go ahead and install our side cover bolts. I'm gonna throw a little bit of blue medium strength thread locker on there, just so we don't have any vibration issues with these backing out. Alrighty, now these side cover bolts get torqued down to 204 inch-pounds. And just like that, the side cover bolts are nice and torqued. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and install our upgraded flywheel. First thing we need to do is remove our QA that is on the crankshaft, so we can go ahead and lap our new flywheel to our crankshaft. What I am gonna do though first is I'm gonna install this tool from OMB Warehouse, and this will slide on the crankshaft on the clutch side, and it will hold the crankshaft in place while we lap this and while we torque it down. And then we can go ahead and put a bolt through this, which will hold this crankshaft in position. Now we'll add a little bit of valve grinding compound. Now we'll go ahead and install our flywheel, and we'll just twist side to side. And now we can go ahead and wipe off all the valve grinding compound. And just make sure to clean off the crankshaft real good. Now that everything's all nice and cleaned up, we can go ahead and reinstall our keyway. We can go ahead and install the flywheel. Now we'll install our pull start cup with the flywheel nut. And now we'll tighten the nut to 54 foot-pounds. And now we can remove our crankshaft holder tool. Now with the flywheel installed, I'm gonna go ahead and install our coil. Now there's a wide variety you can gap your coil to, but I'm gonna go ahead and start with 35 thousandths. All right at 35 thousandths. Now with our coil installed, we can go ahead and install our blower cover. And here is our new blower cover. You can see it's nicely chrome plated, but before I install this, I'm gonna install our kill switch. And the kill switch just presses straight in. And just like that, our kill switch is installed. Now we can install the blower cover. Now we can go ahead and install the bolts to hold on the blower cover, along with a thin coat of blue medium strength thread locker. And we'll just go ahead and snug them up. Now with the blower cover bolted up, we can go ahead and install our pull start assembly. Now we can bolt up the pull start. I'm gonna add a little bit of blue thread locker and just snug these down as well. Now I can go ahead and plug in my kill switch wire. Alrighty, now with our bottom end of the engine complete, we're gonna go ahead and start working on the top end. So here is the head. I went and cleaned this up off camera. I also did a very quick port job on it. Nothing too crazy, but just to make sure that super sharp ridge is gone and it flows real good on the intake and exhaust. So now that that is complete, we can go ahead and install our valves and our valve springs. So these are our stock valve springs here. We're gonna be getting rid of these and throwing in 18-pound valve springs. So let's get that going. Now, since I took these valves out and it's so easy, I'm gonna go ahead and just re-lap these valves to this head, just so I can ensure that I'm getting the best seal for the best performance. So let's do that now. And if you guys want a whole video on how to lap valves, go ahead and click in the top right. Now that this thing has freshly lapped valves, we can go ahead and install them. Now we can go ahead and grab our retainer with our new 18-pound valve springs and install them. And just like that, our valves and valve springs are installed. Let's go ahead and install our rocker arms. Go ahead and slide that in place. Push that on through. And just like that, our rocker arms are installed. Go ahead and reinstall the valve lash caps. Now we can go ahead and install our dowels onto our block. We can go ahead and install our push rods, put a little lube on them. Now we can go ahead and install our 10 thousandths high compression head gasket with our dowels in place. Now we can install our head. Go ahead and push the push rods through. Make sure our push rods are lined up with our rocker arms and they're in the correct indentation. Now we can go ahead and install our head bolts. Alrighty, now I'm going to go ahead and torque down the 4 head bolts to 17 foot-pounds. And just like that, all the head bolts are torqued. Now with our head bolts installed, I'm going to go ahead and set the valve lash. So with the motor at top dead center, let's go ahead and set our valve lash. So we'll take our 9mm and a adjustable wrench to break the adjuster loose. Now I'm going to go ahead and set the valve lash. 0.002 or 0.003 works great on these motors. Want to make sure there's just a little bit of resistance, not a lot, but just a little bit. Perfect. You can see, perfect. A little bit of resistance, but not too much. Now that these are adjusted perfectly, we can go ahead and just throw a little bit of assembly lube on there. Now we can go ahead and install our valve cover alongside our new gasket. I'm also going to put a little bit of thread locker on the bolts. Now we can go ahead and install our new spark plug. Go ahead and tighten down our spark plug. Now with our spark plug tightened, we can go ahead and put on our spark plug wire. Make sure it clicks in place. Just like that. And check this thing out, it's almost complete. Let's go ahead and install our Mikuni manifold. Here is our Mikuni manifold and our gasket. Go ahead and put a little bit of blue strength thread locker for these Allen bolts here. Now we can go ahead and tighten it down. Alrighty, now I'm going to go ahead and install my 22mm Mikuni. And just like that, our VM22 Mikuni is installed. Now time to install our gas tank. Here is our gas tank we're going to be installing and our new fuel line. Go ahead and push the fuel line over. Now we can go ahead, kind of size it up where it's going to be and whereabouts we need to cut it at. I'm going to go ahead and put the rubber insulators on and get this thing lined up. And just like that, we can go ahead and push our fuel line over. Now with our gas tank installed, we can go ahead and tighten down the hardware. And now with that, we are almost done. Let's go ahead and install our velocity stack on our carb. Go ahead and install the velocity stack. And just like that, our velocity stack is installed. And would you check it out, this thing looks frickin' sweet and it should perform real good as well. We need to add oil. And for oil, I'm going to be using Valvoline 10W30 VR1 full synthetic. It's high in zinc and should be able to withstand all the abuse that we're going to be putting this motor through. Go ahead and fill it on up. And just like that, it's filled up with oil. There's 2 last things I need to do. I need to mount up the exhaust and I need to mount our freshly painted heat shield. So let's get this installed. And just like that, our heat shield's installed. Now we're gonna need a header pipe for this build. I don't exactly know what I want to do yet. I believe I do want to make a custom exhaust for this, which there'll be a video on how to do that in the near future, so make sure you stay tuned. I'll be showing how to make the whole header pipe, welding it up, and doing the bends. So if that's something you guys want to see, make sure you guys subscribe and you stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, I am going to be installing this super rare F&B header pipe. This was a limited edition run that they were doing for a few weeks and I happened to snag one. So this is a super cool header pipe. Definitely I'll be getting this thing chrome plated in the near future, but for the meantime it is going to go on this engine build here. We can go ahead and put on our new exhaust gasket and put our header pipe and our nuts on. And just like that, this Predator 212 engine build is 100% complete. If you guys are thinking what I'm thinking, it's montage time. Let's do it. And would you check it out? The motor is 100% complete. It is all mocked up on our Motovox build that we are currently working on. And man, this whole build just looks awesome. The bike, the frame, and this new engine that we're gonna go ahead and start right up right now. So let's go ahead and put some fresh 91 in it and see if she starts. Alrighty, let's go ahead and fill it up with 91 pump gas. Alrighty, I have it off. Just gonna pull it over a few times as this motor has never been ran before. That concludes the Predator 212 engine build. I hope this video helped you guys if you're looking to build a similar engine just like this one. Not only is it affordable, not only is it fast, but it is super reliable. This is a perfect daily rider engine that you could put on a mini bike and bash the heck out of it, and it would stand up to anything you throw at it, as it's got the billet internals, the upgraded flywheel, an upgraded cam, and that 22mm Mikuni style carburetor. This engine is perfect for anyone looking to do their first engine build or just looking for a reliable budget build. With all that being said, make sure you guys comment, like, and subscribe, and you stay tuned as you do not want to miss the upcoming mini bike videos. Peace.